How do you find a virtual assistant? I've gotten really good at that. I've been hiring people overseas for almost 14 years now, and I've really refined a good system. I've got 23 full-time people that work for me now, and I've gotten better of finding the right person, knowing how to hire and train them. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. So of all the places around the world, I've actually honed in on one country that I love hiring people from, and I found a lot of advantages. So we're going to talk about this country and the advantages of it. Then I'm going to show you the tool that I use that makes it really easy for me to search and find these amazing people. So you've probably heard of this before. The place that I'm talking about is the Philippines. Now, why the Philippines? Well, there's a lot of reasons. One is the cost of living and the cost to hire somebody there, like the amount that's a real blessing for them and the quality of work that we get in return. It's just a great exchange. I mean, they have economic needs, so we can really help out that country by hiring people there, and their skill sets are such that it's a wonderful, wonderful blessing to us. Now, some of the barriers that you have when you hire somebody overseas, let's talk about some of them. There's communication, right? Because different countries speak different languages. Well, the Philippines is ideal because they are very Americanized in their English, right? They watch American TV, all their signage is in English, they learn English in schools. Now, you'll find that in other countries, say India or China, that are very popular for outsourcing and whatnot, but the communication, there's actually still a barrier there, that they can speak English, but it's not a very Americanized English, so there's still things lost in translation where that doesn't happen with me when I communicate with my team in the Philippines. Now let's talk about the rate of pay and why the Philippines is so advantageous to us and to them. I do have another episode where I go into more detail because there's people that say that this is too little, and I'll link to that right up here. But the Philippines is a developing country and they have a great need. There's actually a struggle to find good employment in the Philippines. And when I can offer somebody a consistent job where they can work from their home, it's a huge, huge blessing to them and to their economy. So when you think about the value that replicating yourself in your company is, meaning, okay, I'm doing all the work, I'm wearing all the hats, but then I can hire somebody and have them work 8 hours a day and join me in my business. That is just such a huge value. But for so many small business owners, that's a huge milestone because it costs so much. If I were to hire somebody here in the USA, it's just cost prohibitive. I would not be able to do it. You know, definitely not in the short term. But to think that I can spend $500 a month and I can hire somebody full time and have them work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and have that be a blessing to them, that is huge. That's a game changer for what I can do in my business. So that's one of the advantages of looking for people in the Philippines, is because that's a great entry-level income for them. Now, over time, as they show more leadership skills, they take initiative in your company, I definitely give pay raises over time. But let me just be transparent. I've got 23 full-time people, 23, okay, putting in 160 hours per month, and my salary is $15,000 a month for all 23. I've got one individual that's been with me 13 and a half years. I've got a couple other team members that have been with me 10 years. They're skilled, they're loyal, I can trust them, they do quality work, and they really take great care of my clients. So now I want to show you the tool that I use and how I found them. Okay, so I've come to the website virtualassistanttool.com. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see Advanced VA Search. Sometimes they move this around, but that's my favorite way. And to do a search like this is free. If you want their contact information, that's what you pay for. But go ahead and come in here and experiment, do some searches like this. So you click on Advanced VA Search. Now, I hire a lot of video editors, so let's just stick with this search here. Let's do video editor, and let's put the salary range between $1 and $3 per hour. I mean, you can pay as much as you really want. You know, you can go up if you want to pay somebody $100 per hour. I would recommend against it. That kind of defeats the purpose. So you can go all the way down. Just look for people between $1 and $3 per hour US. And if I hit here, refine search results, like right now, I just found 2,400 job seekers. So you can scroll down, and I like to look at the title, like what have they called themselves? Do they call themselves a virtual assistant or a video editor? If I'm looking to hire a video editor, I want somebody who's really committed themselves to that skill set. So with so many thousands of applicants, how do you narrow it down? Okay, so there's some things that I love to do over here. If you come over here on the left, you can go to last active, right? So if I say a month or less, so if they were last active a month ago, that means that within the last month they've logged in and they're actively looking, right? If they've already been hired for somebody, Just because they have a profile doesn't mean that they're looking for more work. And then there are people that will create multiple profiles. That on one profile they'll say I'm a video editor, on another profile they'll say that they're a bookkeeper, right? And you don't want somebody like that, but there's systems built into the software that kind of filter that out. And so if you go to ID proof score, I like to go greater than 70, just people that really are legit. So if I refine those search results, say that cut it down to 1100, so I've still got a lot to sort through here. I can come over here and add a skill filter. So if I'm looking for something like Adobe Premiere, all right, so it's got a category here of Adobe Premiere Pro. I'll click on that. And then I get to choose, okay, do I want somebody who's rated themselves as a 1-star, 2, a 4, saying, yeah, I'm really good at Adobe Premiere, or I'm an expert, right? If they rate themselves at a 5, know that of all the different categories, they can only rate themselves at 5-star at a few of them. So I can narrow it down there. I'll just put 5-star and hit save. Okay, for this particular search, it looks like it's narrowed it down to 4 job seekers. I typically like to play with the settings like this and narrow it down to maybe 30 or 40 applicants that I want to reach out to. And then I can just come in here, I can view their specific profile, and I can actually contact them. Right? So this software gives you the ability to directly email them, and then they will email you back, and there's no middle person. So you're not going to be paying an agency fee or anything like that, which is typically crazy when they'll say, okay, yeah, to hire somebody, it's only $1,500 a month, and yet that agency then only pays them $400 or $500 a month. So you just want to hire people directly. That's why I love this website. So now that you know how to find the right virtual assistant to hire, in the next episode, I'm going to talk to you actually about the hiring process. Not only how to narrow your list down, but what to say to them, how to ask them to apply, how to sort through those applications, and how to find the right person.